Montana is home to the last intact wild trout fisheries in the lower 48, which means any and all stressors put on trout populations are magnified. In Montana, fly fishing is a way of life for many, and fishing in general is a major economic boon for the state, bringing in $907 million annually. But in places across the state, like the Jefferson River Basin, trout numbers have declined by 20 to 25%, and the challenges facing these fish are multiple.
How many people have moved into Montana in the last decade, and out of those number of people, how many are recreationalists, including anglers? That's just more pressure. So throw in some bad weather, some hot weather, some low water. It's a recipe for a declining population to me.
Rich Ramersa is the owner of East Rosebud Fly Shop and said the last few years have been out of the norm.
Travel traffic seemed to be down a little bit, although after the last 2 summers, I'm not even sure what normal traffic is anymore.
Chrissy Webb is the communications manager for Fish, Wildlife, and Parks and said while the numbers in Yellowstone and surrounding counties are relatively normal, trout require stability to thrive.
They're more of what we consider a cold water species, so they really need that cold, clean water to do well. And with these sort of prolonged periods of drought that we've been seeing in a lot of places across the state, they're of course faced with a lot of challenges.
With one specific challenge on the radar of Fish, Wildlife, and Parks.
We're still working through the process of figuring out what an increase in angling pressure could do for these fish.
Ramersa mentioned that while this season has been successful, trout face a very unique battle in the Treasure State.
Montana does not stock its rivers and streams. So we don't do that. A lot of states do, but we don't. So high water, crazy low water, crazy temperatures, it definitely can impact trout populations.
He said the wild-bred river populations are what makes Montana trout fishing so spectacular.
Start mixing that vibrant population with hatchery-raised fish. I mean, you might benefit the angler, but you are not benefiting the habitat, I'll tell you that.
But with numbers in decline in places around the state where river populations are solely reliant on their own ability to rebound, the key to improving the situation, according to Ramersa, comes down to communication.
When it comes to conservation, public access, educating sportsmen and women about catch and release and taking care of our resources, all of that stuff to me can improve what we're talking about today.
In Billings, Phil Van Pelt, MTN News.